Alrighty guys, this is snugsonblitz and I'm back with another video for you today. Let me start off by wishing you all a happy new year. Yes, 2024 has arrived and with it, the last set of auction tanks has just dropped. Today we've got 7 tanks to look at and over the next few days another 7 tanks will be added. What tanks will they be? Who freaking knows? We'll just have to find out together. I probably won't do another auction review tomorrow, maybe the day after or the day after that, depending on what prices these tanks drop to, if there's any great deals to be had, and what tanks are added to the auctions. So I'm going to give you what I think is fair value pricing for which tanks and which tanks I would recommend you pick up. That's why you're here to listen to my YouTube video, right? I can only go off by how competitive these tanks are on the battlefield, how new they are, how much fun they are, and compare them to other tanks that are out there. And so let's just get right into it. The M4 Yo is an interesting tank. It's unique. The Bisonte C45, which is available earlier in this auction, was also a unique tank with its gun handling. This one is also unique. It's got a 4-shell, quote unquote, auto reloader kind of thing. It's different. The armor works. It's a solid tank. Is it better than the T77 or the T5042? No, I don't think it is. But can it do the business? Yes, it can. I don't see them played that effectively usually, but I mean, it's a heavy tank. The armor does work. It's overpriced right now, considering those tanks were sold for 5K, even though the T77 only lasted literally a minute before selling out. So to me, fair value price for this tank would be around that price, 5K. Will it get down there? It might. I don't think it's a popular tank, and a lot of people were able to pick this up for free at one of the events, the Blitz Cup or something like that. So mm, I'm not sure it's going to get down to that price, but let's hope it does. And then I would say you might want to consider it. Moving right along, the Pharaoh. This is an okay tank. It's tier 7. It's like an AMX 5100 in tier 7. But at 12.5K, what the frick? No, 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 absolutely not. That is way overpriced. And it's only dropping by 500 gold tomorrow. That is insane. Yeah, I would say this is a solid pass. Not because it's a horrible tank. I mean, it's okay. It's decently strong. But it's not worth the price. It's a little bit old. It's older than the Yo, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, it looks kind of cool. That's all I can say about it. But fair value price, under 5K. I mean, if you can get a tier 8 competitive tank then for 5 or 6K, why would you get this tank? I mean, are you crazy? I do not see this selling out until maybe the last day when people are just desperate to pick up something. I just got to laugh. I wonder what price it'll eventually go for, but we'll just have to wait and see. Moving right along, we have the Kampfpanzer 07. I'm surprised to see it in the auction. Thanks, Wargaming. It's not that old. It's nice to see some relatively newer tanks being put in the auctions. That's much appreciated. I do. However, the price is not as attractive. I mean, again, 12.5K. This tank is okay. It's decent, but I don't see them played very effectively on the battlefield. They're not really intimidating. I think it's more fun than the Yo, but I think the Yo is probably more competitive because people don't really understand the gun mechanics. Again, I mean, 12.5K, no. Fair value price. Because it's newer than the other tanks, I'll give it a little bit of an edge. I'll say this is worth 6K, and I think I'm being generous there. I don't think this is a tank that you should spend your money on, in my opinion. But, if you want to pick it up, then you can. What do I know, right? Anyway, what are the last tanks we have? Well, we have the VK9001P, and this is the first tank I have to say is that you want. If you do not have this, this is a tank you want. This is an awesome tank ever since it got the buff. I mean, it was strong before the buff. It's even stronger now. This is a very, very solid tank. 17.5K, slightly overpriced. I would like to see this around 14K, just considering it's a little bit older. But yeah, this is a must-have tank in my opinion. So if you're looking for a tier 10, I don't think you're going to get better than this in this auction. So pick that up if you can. Again, fair value price around 14K. Will it get down there? I don't know. So just keep your eye on it. That's all I can say. Wait until it goes down to around, I don't know, 800 tanks, and then just pounce on it if you don't want to risk it, you know. And look what we have here, the Object 268 version 4. I'm surprised to see this in here. It's slightly new for an auction tank. I don't know how long it's been in the game, but maybe a year, something like that. I forget when it first joined Blitz. But to be the same price as the VK90, that's not bad. What's a fair value price for this tank? I guess 15K because it's not that old. 16K even. So yeah, if you want to pick up this tank, I would say go for it. Is it better than the VK90? No, I don't think it is. So if you don't have either of them, go for the VK90. If you have the VK90, then yeah, you might want to pick up the 268. It's a strong, beastly tank if you know what you're doing. Play it more like a heavy, I think would be my best advice, not a tank destroyer. And the last two tanks in the last batch of today's tanks is the Object 452. Again, not such an old tank. It's only been in the game maybe a year. It's not a popular tank. It's only been available, I think, twice. First in the store for cash or crates, and then the second time for an obscene amount of money, I think. I forget what it was, but not a very strong tank. So at 13.5K, forget it. I mean, the Kampfpanzer 70 was much better than this. The, what is it? K91 far superior to this. So what would be a fair value price? Since it's newer, I guess I'm going to give it a little bit of a bump, but I think fair value price would be around 10K. But is it a tank you really want? It's an awkward tank to play. It's a little bit low slung, hard to manufacture shots sometimes. Can be strong in the right positions, but it's a weird one. I wouldn't recommend this for newer players. That's all I can say. And lastly, the Lycan. This is one of the tanks I predicted would be here, and lo and behold, it is. So, yeah, we've had two Halloween tanks this Christmas season. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Drac and Mr. Helsing appear in the other 7 tanks that are coming. 7.5K. See, now that's more realistic for a tier 7 tank to start. But what's fair value price? Since I got the AMX Canona for 4,750, I think it was, I would say 4K would be fair value for this price. It's a tier 7 tank. It's decently strong. It's got good gun depression. Yeah, I mean, it's like a Tiger in my opinion. Hits hard, decently mobile, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but yeah, it's not worth that price. So, what have we got here? We've got some 3 overpriced tanks in the Pharaoh, the Kampfpanzer, and the 452. Very overpriced tanks. We have one fair value, actually 2 fair value prices to start. I mean, around that price. I mean, the Object 268 was available, I think, for 22K recently, so that's a 5K discount right there. Granted, it doesn't come with all the bells and whistles, so okay. I guess it was 20K maybe, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was 22 for the non-decked out version. I forget which, but whatever. A decent discount. VK, not as, you know, it would be nice to have been a little bit cheaper to start, but I think it'll drop a little bit faster, as you can see already here by the numbers. Avoid the Pharaoh just because it's way overpriced. So, what can I say? If I were looking to pick up a new tank and I had, let's say, 20K, I'd go for the VK90. End of story. No questions asked. If I were going to pick a second tank from this list, I don't think the tier 8s are anything special, neither the tier 7s, so I'd go try and save up my money for the Object 268. And that's about it. What other tanks will appear? We're just going to have to find out in the next couple of days. So, that's all I got for you. Enjoy today's video, which will appear in about 30 minutes from now. And I'll see you tomorrow. Snugs on Blitz, out.